Hey everybody, I wanted to introduce you to a new film camera I've had for a few weeks now. This is a Fuji GW690II, medium format film camera manufactured in the mid-1980s. I got it from a camera dealer in Japan for a very reasonable price. It shoots 120 medium format film like this. I'm planning to take it on a big winter photo trip that I'll talk more about in future videos, but I wanted to test it out with a roll of film to make sure it works and that everything's good with it and that I know how to use it. The thing I love about this beast is that it's 100% mechanical. There's no battery, no light meter, nothing electronic at all. You load the film across the back the same way you would with a 35mm camera. I have an app on my phone that I use as a light meter and it seems to work pretty well. Here you can see the basic controls on the camera. Here you choose film sizes. That's the film counter. And this is the top shutter button. On the lens, we have the focus ring with a depth of field guide. And up by the retractable lens hood, we have shutter speed and aperture. On the front is another shutter release button. Here to get an idea of the size, I'm comparing the medium format Fuji to an old 35mm Canon. You can see why they call this thing the Texas Leica. And here's my Sony. It looks like a toy compared to this thing. One last thing, the door is a little loose on the back, but I don't think it's making a difference in focus or light leaks. Here we can see the 6x9 medium format negatives from the Fuji GW690II. These are shot on Kodak Tri-X 400 ISO 120 medium format film. Most 120 film cameras shoot what is essentially a square frame, and you can get 12 shots on a roll. With the 6x9 size, you only get 8 frames on a roll. The format is the same proportion as 35mm frame, but 5 times larger. This size of frame is moving into the neighborhood of large format film, honestly. And supposedly the resolution in one of these frames of film equals a 260 megapixel digital camera. Here we're looking at the thumbnails of the scans I got back. I use Richard Photo Lab in Los Angeles for my film processing and scans. You can see 3 of my 8 shots are black. They aren't underexposed, and I didn't get a lens cap, so I think it might be a shutter malfunction. And I remember that I shot, out of all the 8, I shot about 3 vertical or portrait images, and none of those came out. Fuji has this extra shutter button for shooting in portrait mode, and I wonder if either the shutter or this shutter button aren't working properly. Anyways, it worked well in landscape orientation, and that's what I really care about anyways. I basically burned this roll of film to see how the camera was working, shooting subjects to see how it handled detail, how the depth of field rolls off into the background. People talk about film versus digital, and to me, the thing that film does so beautifully is the soft, integrated edges that look so harsh in digital shots. This shot is sharp, but it's not harsh. Look at how gorgeous those blurry branches look in the background. Even though this was kind of a burner roll of film, I do like this shot of a local historic southern mansion in my hometown here in Tennessee. We're looking at the raw scan from the lab here. This house was built in 1818 with modifications through the 1850s, and it was occupied through the 1950s. Looking at the contact print, you can see that I had a light leak, but I think this was from putting the film in the camera in too bright of conditions rather than from the camera back. I had a drum scan made, and here's my final file with the verticals fixed and some contrast adjustments. I could make a 60-inch print from this file very easily. Here's a 12x18 print I made myself here on Hahnemühle Fine Art Baryta paper. I think it looks really great. I'm really happy with how this photo turned out. I'll be talking more about this camera in the future, especially if I get some good work out of it. Thanks for watching. Be sure to visit my website, keithdotson.com.